We're talking all about gear in DC Dark Legion today. In particular, this video is going to focus on how to acquire gear and how to transmute it so that you can unlock some of the more beneficial effects on it. There's not going to be any fancy graphics on screen or anything like that. This is going to be more of a let's play where I take you through some of the various aspects of gear acquisition and gear transmutation, and just give you some general tips on how it works and how you should be looking at it for your account. So gear is going to be obtained through your armory, and you're going to be able to craft gear basically from the time that you start the game by using alloy. Alloy is going to become a very important element for you as you progress into the game. It's definitely more of a late game material. But, you know, once you've gotten your main champions to max level, right now it's 580. It will probably increase in the future. You don't have to push for those stems or the XP. You'll definitely be focusing more on alloy and chips. And so you're going to want to craft as much gear as possible. There's sort of a progression system with gear where you're going to craft a lot of gear. Then you're going to deconstruct that gear. You're going to obtain building blocks, which allow you to upgrade the armory. And then you just kind of rinse, wash, and repeat. And as you go, you're going to go from this green gear, the uncommon, to rare, rare plus, epic. You'll get to epic plus, and then legendary, so on and so forth. And eventually, you're going to start getting some mythic gear. Now, as of the filming of this video, the highest level mythic gear you can get is level 500. Once you either craft or obtain your first piece of level 500 gear, and let's see where it starts. So at around this point, the Star Labs Hamilton armor, you're going to be able to start crafting. You'll have a very small chance to craft level 500 gear. Again, you can obtain a piece as well, which will also give you access to it. But once you get to level 500 gear, you're going to be able to transmute your gear. Transmutes can be done with mirror cells, and you'll be able to obtain mirror cells either through getting to level 35 armory, where you can craft the mirror cells using your alloys, or you'll be able to get mirror cells as well through completing the training simulator, in particular the Realm of Fate training simulator. Once you get to a certain level in each one of those modes, you'll start obtaining, or at least some of them, you'll start obtaining some mirror cells. You're also going to be getting mirror cells once you get to phase 2 in the combat cycle as well. So let's go over and take a look at our champions, and I think Wonder Woman on my account will be a good example here. You can see that I've already started transmuting some of these gear pieces. Unfortunately, you do end up transmuting a few gear pieces that are not quite efficient for your account. And what I mean by that is, even once you get to level 500 gear, there's going to be a chance that you can obtain level 500 gear that has a tag synergy to it. So we'll go in and look at this piece of gear, these gloves, and it basically just has your typical gear effects. So like here, we're going to be getting attack, crit resistance, and crit damage resistance. But then there's also your transmutation effect. If we go look at this Justice League Dark piece, you're getting your gear effects. All of these gear effects are different based on your class and the piece of gear that you're equipping. So here we've got the gear effects are additional HP, min, and effect resistance. And then we have our transmutation effect. But then this is a Justice League Dark gear piece. So gear attributes are increased by 20% when equipped by Justice League Dark champion. So basically for any of your faction tag gear pieces, if you equip that piece to a champion that's part of that faction, you'll get a 20% bonus. You can still equip to other champions. So like we'll go over to Constantine. He's got some Bat Family and Legion of Doom pieces on him that would be more efficient if I put them on, let's say, you know, Nightwing for the Bat Family or Sinestro for the Legion of Doom. But you can still equip them to other champions. You're just going to get better stats whenever you equip to the correct faction. Okay, so we've talked about how to obtain the gear. We've talked about some of the faction tag bonuses that you can get from it. We've talked about transmutation in general and the mirror cells that you'll have to use. let's go ahead and get into the weeds of how transmutation works. Now, this is probably going to trigger you a little bit, and we'll talk about the economy side of things as well at some point. But you have a couple of different ways that you can go into the Transmute system. You can click the Transmute button, which I just did, and it will take you to a full list of all of your gear, and you can kind of scroll down through and see what you've already transmuted and what is still available to transmute. You can see I definitely have a few of the faction pieces that are probably worth starting to transmute at some point. And I've also got several pieces that are very inefficient because they don't have the tag synergy bonus. I think the other thing that I'll mention here that's important, once you transmute a piece of gear, you cannot sell it. So you definitely want to be careful about transmuting early on. This really is more of a late game thing where probably going to want to be close to level 35 armory before you start considering some of the transmutes, because it's going to be difficult for you to obtain additional mirror cells to do it with. And early on, you want to make sure that those transmutes are going into the faction tagged pieces of gear. Obviously, as you saw, you can also get to the transmutation screen by going through the gear piece itself. You can see here with the transmute button. And I think what we're going to do here, just for illustrative purposes, is we're going to take this gear piece, this chest piece that has not been transmuted yet. It's definitely a good candidate for transmutation. And so you can follow along with me as I do this. Again, trigger warning right now. It's very difficult to get these mirror cells. Unfortunately, the way you're going to unlock each attribute level is by leveling up the prior one. And the one thing I would say that's negative about the system is it's not just RNG oriented where you kind of have to keep fishing for the transmute that you want, but it's also incredibly inefficient because you might fish for and get a mythic or legendary transmute at a specific level, but if you haven't gotten to the next level up through the transmutation system, you're gonna have to basically drop that transmute that you got. So what I mean by this is we're gonna use our first 100 mirror cells and we'll unlock the first transmute. You can choose to go ahead and lock in the specific attribute that you have. So we'll lock that in, and then you can't accidentally hit the transmute button and take that one away. So like we can back out and go to, we'll definitely exit that. Let's go over to this helmet. And I do like this attack. I mean, it's not great to have attack on one of your guardian champions, but she does lack an attack. So it's quite a nice transmute for now. So we can go into the transmute system and we can lock that so that I'm not going to accidentally hit the transmute button and push to something that's really worthless. I'm not ready to level this one fully up right now. We'll go back into the chest piece. We're going to go into transmute. We'll unlock that. And basically what you're going to have to do, I have 4,000 mirror cells. I'm not sure how far we're going to get here, but now that we have it unlocked, you basically just have to keep hitting the transmute button until you level this all the way through to 4,000. And that's going to get you to transmute level 2. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. And, pay attention and see if we get any good ones. You can see that we do get some additional XP. Like it kind of cycles through, not really cycles through, but there's a chance that you can get more XP sometimes. So you're getting 100 XP for the gray and green. We'll go a little bit slower and see how it changes if we get maybe a blue or yellow. So I don't think it's giving you extra based on the rarity, but it's definitely nice. Like we're definitely not gonna need the full 4,000 mirror cells just to get through this first level, but you do need close to that. There went a crit rate. Okay, so now we've unlocked the second level attributes, and really it's just gonna be the exact same thing over and over again until you can get through to level 5. I haven't talked to anyone yet who has done that with one specific gear piece yet. Again, this is so late game that they're very clearly going to have to add some additional mechanics here or make it easier to get mirror cells or something, because I mean, I just used, it took quite a while to obtain 4,000 mirror cells, and I just used pretty much all of them on one gear piece. Now, what we can do here is, there are a couple of mechanics we need to talk about. So we've unlocked our second attribute. When we transmute here, and we're leaving them unlocked for now. We'll talk about that in just a second. But when we transmute, it should transmute both of these items. So we just got dodge 2.7% and crit damage 4.9%. Those are actually both really good. In particular, that dodge is quite nice here. The next element that you're going to be using once you've started using your mirror cells to open up these transmutation levels is if you lock in, and this only opens up once you have 2 attributes unlocked. You can see this other resource here, which is called Intertrons, and they are incredibly expensive. We're going to take a look at the economy in all this in just a second. But what you'll do is you're going to lock in this dodge, and I really shouldn't do this, especially since, well, I guess crit damage is irrelevant here. But once you lock in one of the stats that you like, you're going to hit the transmute button, which is going to charge you your typical 100 mirror cells. It's also going to charge you 1 Intertron. Now let's hit the button here, and we end up getting defense. I mean, that's like kind of okay. But the important thing here is, and again, we'll talk about the economy in just a second. Every time you transmute, if you want to lock one of those attributes in, it's going to cost you 1 Intertron, which is just, it's almost absurd. Again, I think they're going to have to do some adjustments to the economy around the system at some point down the road. I don't know if they're waiting on something or what the deal is, but these Intertrons are incredibly expensive, and it's almost not worth doing this. You know, I actually don't think it's worth trying to save a blue level attribute. I think you really need to be, you probably at this point, even for whales, should only be locking in an attribute if it's mythic level, maybe legendary if it's the right attribute that you were looking for, but it's just going to cost a lot to get these Intertrons. Again, we can lock in this second attribute here. We should confirm. Okay, so now we've got 2 attributes applied to that gear piece. I think that was quite nice, and also illustrative so that you can see how it works. I mean, that's really the gear transmutation system in a nutshell. I've probably drawn on way too long for this. Let's go look at the economy. So you can go into this diurnal harvest, and you can see that they're selling these Intertron crates and rapid enhancement. We'll talk about rapid enhancement in another video because that's your attribute or gear attributes for your ships. But these Intertron crates, so they're selling 10 Intertrons and 4,000 mirror cells for 100 USD, which is really crazy. I don't know the exact breakdown. I'm sure we could probably try to put like a dollar figure on, you know, 100 mirror cells and 100 Intertrons by using this $20 crate. But you can just see like it's incredibly expensive to obtain those Intertrons, and you really don't even want to consider using them until you've got multiple transmutation levels unlocked for a gear piece. Ultimately, my recommendation is that probably even whales shouldn't be spending on these packs unless you are like truly a Kraken and money just doesn't matter to you. I would not recommend that a light spender buy these packs at all. There are different ways, there are free ways for you to obtain additional mirror cells. And really, I think you should be focusing on just getting that first level unlocked for any faction-specific gear piece that you have. It's just going to be a slog. Like, it is going to take you a while to get to the place that you want to be with this. That's going to do it for gear transmutes. This was a highly requested video. I hope that you find this type of content helpful, where I'm just kind of going through my account and showing you things rather than doing the fancy graphics, because that does take a lot more of my time to do. Really enjoyed making the video and talking through this. If you have any questions about gear transmutes, definitely leave a comment down below. If I misstated anything, definitely don't be scared to correct me. It's really important that I make sure that the best information about the game is being sent out to you guys. If this was a helpful video for you, please be sure to hit the like button and make sure that you're subscribed so that you get all of my future DC Dark Legion videos, and I'll see you in the next one.